All right, real quickly here, a couple announcements for everybody, a couple product promotions we know about. Obviously, we know that we've got a lot of exciting things happening. Product University is back. We got Professor Angie rocking and rolling, man. That was a great, always great to be able to get her knowledge and insights. We got that happening. We got the Mother's Day special. We got to make sure everybody's mom is looking sexy, right? We got to have the most beautiful moms on the planet. And I'm telling you, dad's going to be chasing mom around the house. I'm telling you what, mom's going to be glowing, looking beautiful. Let's talk about this thing. This thing ends on Mother's Day at 11:59 Pacific. The glow and glam, right? I love this one. What an amazing, and I love the free product, right? We got obviously my favorite. I'm going to put it on real quick. Dialed in. My lips be popping. And then we've got that special mirror. I can't wait. We got ordered a couple of these bad boys. Going to be amazing. Really, really, really excited about this promotion because it's got the Set and Stay makeup spray. I love that. It rhymes. Bam. We got the collagen melting sheets. Everybody loves that. We got the cushion. We got the lip oil. It's gonna be a great one. Everybody's mom's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna have the most beautiful moms on the planet. So let's get dialed in on that. We got auto ship gift. Everybody knows every 3 months you get a $30 product credit there. Starter kits for the month of May going on right now. Very beautiful right now. Everybody's upgrading to the starter, getting upgraded. If you join in your first 30 days, you have 30 days to be able to buy as many of these as you want. And I can tell you guys right now, the starter kit premium right now is flying like crazy. Everybody's getting dialed in on these. We've got starter kits flying like never before. Canada, never leave Canada out. Obviously, we got to do that. Business Builder promotions. The leadership momentum bonus is at an all-time high. This is crazy. They doubled it this month. Never seen anything like this before. This is wild. If you're a team leader, make sure what it says May 31st. Is that even a thing? Man, we're gonna have to tell these guys. Oh, it is a thing. I thought there was only 30 days this month. Jackpot, we get an extra day to make money. This is out of control. This is double, man. We're doing it. Okay, I love this one. This one right here, I'm gonna break this down for you guys real quickly because I wanted to spend some time on this one. Recruit 3 in the month of May, have May start dates, help them generate 1,000 in SP. You're going to earn a $500 bonus. But also, you're going to earn even more money than that because you're going to get your regular bonuses on top of that. So let's talk about it, right? If this is you sponsor your 3 level 1 planners in the month of May, help them get 1,000 in personal SP, right? Sales points. If you're a planner, you're going to earn the 116 plus 500. That's going to be 616. Manager pay is going to be 233 plus 500. You're going to earn 733. And you can do this unlimited times, right? Senior managers are going to earn 467 plus 500. They're going to earn 967. And then team leaders are going to get 700 plus 500, looking at $1,200. Is that 1,200? Yeah, it's 1,200. So this is out of control, right? This has never been a better time to start sponsoring people with this $500 bonus. This thing has got everybody running. Now, let me share with you a little secret. The time to sneak people in on this is now, right? Don't wait till the end of the month in the last few days and everybody scramble to try to get theirs. If you get people in today, guess what, right? You get people in this weekend, you get people in now, guess what happens, right? They're going to have if it's the 9th, they're going to have basically the rest of the month to be able to get theirs, right? So you can get people started now so they have an opportunity to be able to earn their bonuses as well, right? Because if you get your team earning these bonuses, it's a no-brainer. The way I look at it is this. You guys all know my background, I'm sure. I came from a very poor family. If you're brand new, you might not know, but I was homeless before I got involved in direct selling. 17 years old, it was 30 years ago. And bottom line is this, man. Growing up the way that I did, we don't waste anything, right? In my household, if the milk is about to go bad, I'll have a team meeting, right? I'll call all my kids, all my family and say, hey, you guys, it's time to, you gotta show up over here because, we gotta make sure we drink all this milk, right? And I'll get everybody dialed in drinking milk. You know what I mean? Like we'll have a milk party because we don't want to, we just absolutely make sure no matter what that we get everybody dialed in. Did I do something wrong? Paul, I see you raising your hand. Did I do something wrong? Hope I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm telling you, maybe Paul's saying, hey, look, we did that too. But I don't like to leave money on the table, man. If a company throws out a bonus, make sure you take advantage of it. It's number one, the best way to say thank you. But number two, don't leave any money on the table, man. That's the way that I operate, right? So I'm going to earn this. I guarantee you that. And I would encourage you to be able to do the same thing, right? So that's going to be a no-brainer. Events that are going on, let's talk about this real quick. Cabo, if you're going to Cabo with this, you qualified for that. I can't wait, man. We're going to have too much fun. It's going to be an exciting time. 14th to the 18th. We're going to be partying it up. If you're, didn't get a chance to qualify that, maybe you got started, recently. We're going to have another one coming out soon. So we'll be doing that. So everybody's having fun in Cabo. We got the Remon retreat going on in October. We're going to be going out to the Jeju Island, baby. And you can earn, obviously, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. What I want to tell you about this is we're going to the Remon Resort. We're going to the Remon Village. We're going to go to the volcano. We're going to see the water treatment, the water place where they extract the water. We're going to see basically the new 35,000, 150,000 square foot smart farm that they just opened up. I mean, this thing is going to be amazing. They're building more resorts. Another, like, right next to the property they bought that. They're building 9 more villas. Man, we're doing it. But Remon's doing it like nobody else is doing it. So let's get you to director so you can qualify for that. Roadmap's right around the corner. Everybody's going to be there in Vegas. We're going to be at the Rio Hotel, man. It's going to be a lot bigger venue. So last time, we all know what happened there. We sold out in 4 weeks. So that was tough to be able to get people to the last convention. This one's a bigger venue, so we're going to be able to pack this thing out. But even though it's a bigger venue, you never want to wait till the last minute, because everybody right now that's already registered for this event, as I talk about it, you're like, man, I can't wait to go, right? But if you haven't got your registration done, you're like, oh, I still got to do that. So what happens is when you get people to register right away, every time they hear about Vegas, they're like, man, I'm going in September. Every time they hear about the Roadmap event, they're like, man, I'm going to be there. So you want to get everybody registered right away. Book your room, right? Everybody knows, book your room right away. We got a great a block there. Everybody's excited about that. Make sure you get your room. That obviously that venue is going to sell out from a room standpoint. So don't wait for that. That's a first minute thing. Single tickets, 10 ticket bundle. I'm the guy that always gets the 10 ticket bundles. That's the way I operate. I like to get my hands on them and then boom, distribute them. If you want to get one, however you want to do it, man. But don't miss out. If you haven't registered yet, make a commitment today to do what? Register for the event, okay? We got the grand opening of Mexico. Woo! Man, I'm fired up about this, right? This is going to be happening May 9th. Wait a second. I'm sorry. You got to hit manager by May 9th, which is today. So you got to get registered to be able to qualify for this one. Register for attendance no later than May 10th, okay? And at 10 a.m. And if you don't have that link, if you're from Mexico, you're a manager and you're going to this, make sure you reach out to your directors or your team leaders to get that insight. And if you reach out to your team leaders and they don't know, they can call the directors. If not, just reach out to me. You guys know how I operate. I always got all the insights. Actually, I don't, but I get it from whoever I need to, right? So this is going to be amazing, right? We got this new office opening up, beautiful office. Everybody's fired up about that. Let's talk a little bit about being a promoter or announcer, right? Announcers, they struggle, right? Promoters, they win big, right? Promoters, whenever there's an event going on, guess what they do? They send out personal voice messages. They'll call people. They'll send out personalized texts. Announcers just send out a mass text and hope everybody gets on, right? They hope their upline promotes it. They rely on other people. Promoters, guess what they do? They create massive excitement around events, right? And announcers, they hope, right? I call it post and pray, right? Promoters, what they do is something different, right? They get planners to take notes on the edge of their chairs. They don't just get people on the call, right? They get people on the edge of their chair taking notes, learning from the call. Announcers like, oh, you just check out the recording if you want, right? They don't create urgency. They don't create excitement. Promoters are the ones that make the big money, right? They create momentum. I call them the chargers, right? Because they charge people up, and the announcers kind of wait for momentum, right? We're going to talk about momentum today, and they're kind of the battery. So just want to make sure we talk about that. The reason why we do so many events, like people talk about, man, there's a lot of Zooms that you guys do. Well, the reason why we do so many Zooms is because there's so many people getting exposed every day, right? So every time people get exposed, we want to plug them into a system. We want to plug them into what's going on. It's all about getting your new people to plug in, getting multiple messages, hearing the same information. I always tell people, your first 4 weeks in the business, you want to get on as many Zooms as you can, because you want to learn how to be able to promote the business. You want to be able to learn, that Halasan volcano, right? You want to be able to say Centella Asiatica. It took me about 3 months. I think I hit director before I could even say Centella Asiatica. Right? So I just went with tiger grass. I like tiger grass a little bit easier. But the reason why I tell you that is I learned how to promote Remon by getting on the Zooms. Even though I know how to present, because I've been doing this for 30 years, I didn't know the information. So I got on all the Zooms and listened to the people that knew how to promote it. And I would listen to their story and I would take it and learn from them, right? So when you get somebody's first base, you don't want, it's about like baseball, softball, whatever you want to call it. But when you pique somebody's interest, right? You pique somebody's interest, get them excited about the opportunity. I like to use a text message, right? I'll tell somebody something like, can't talk now, right? I'm real busy, but I got some really good news. We gotta talk a little bit later. and it creates curiosity. So I'll text them and tee them up. So if I'm going to talk to them, let's say in 3 hours, for the next 3 hours, what's going to happen, right? People are going to be what? Thinking about what was Tim talking about? What is Tim talking about? So the second thing is I'll get them on an opportunity call, opportunity Zoom, maybe get them on a 3-way call. Sometimes, if you are doing individual ones, I like to do one-on-one Zooms as well, or, launch Zooms. I'll talk about that tonight. Third base might be getting somebody to a pop-up, right? Getting them to a glow up, getting them to demonstrate the product, whatever. It might be different. It might be the pop-up comes first, or the demonstration might come first, or it doesn't matter which order. It's just all about getting multiple exposures, right? It might be a connection call, it might be an orientation, might be the third base, it might be whatever, right? So it's all about multiple exposures, right? It's not about hitting home runs. It's about getting people exposed over and over and over again, because the more exposures that they have, they're going to be more fired up and excited, right? So that's something that's super important. Let's talk about our events that are going on. Man, if you haven't watched Derek Brown yet, man, you are missing out. Derek Brown is a powerhouse, man. He's going to be landing down tomorrow at 1 p.m. Saturday night. Chris Kim and I are going to be doing our Chinese presentation. It's going to be next level. We do it on VOOV and Zoom, right? VOOV. And Stella Chen, who I know is on here, she helps us out with that. That's going to be a great one as well. If you're building in that China market or Hong Kong, or have people that speak Chinese in whatever market. The Mother's Day special is going to be coming to an end on Sunday. For the guys that you know in your life, they have no idea what to buy women, right? Anybody that knows women, the men are just, you know what I mean? So what most people do is when we have a promotion like this, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, things like that, we call up all the guys we know and say, hey, look, you know what? I got you covered for the Mother's Day special. I'm gonna get you covered for a Mother's Day gift. What you want to do is buy this bundle, because it's gonna your wife's gonna fall in love, your mother's gonna fall in love, whoever's gonna fall in love. So help guys whenever we got promotions, right? And if you're a dude, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? run into the CVS right before you come home. You know what I mean? Like, so we want to make sure that we get everybody dialed in and get them their special. And even though obviously, if you buy it on Mother's Day, you're not going to get on Mother's Day, letting them know what they got them. It's the same. They're going to love it. Okay. Focus group. We obviously on Monday, we didn't have our focus group. Anybody that's a manager is allowed to take advantage of this, right? So I will tell you right now, Larry and Taylor, I talked to both of them today. Actually, every time I get a chance to talk to Larry and Taylor, I always learn so much, right? I always learn so much. And we've got the May 12th, May 19th, and May 26th. We're going to be doing obviously the focus group mastermind. If you're a manager, you need to be on these, man, because it literally will put you 6 months ahead of everybody not on them. Now, if you're not a manager, you need to get yourself the manager, right? So once you become a manager, go to goupgig.com/qualify and input your information. They'll have your email, and then they'll send you out an email before the calls. Now, if you don't get an email because maybe you're doing it today or whatever, reach out and make sure your team leader, or you can direct message me on Facebook or whatever. I'll get you that link Monday before the call, right? So make sure you get this information. The best training. This is my mentors. They teach me so much. A lot of you guys know Larry Thompson was the owner of Herbalife with Mark Hughes. After he sold his shares there, he helped start a company called PM International that did $3 billion. He mentored Rolf, the guy that owns that company. And they came out of retirement because they fell in love with the products, and they're our strategic advisors that are helping navigate and direct, obviously, Riemann. And they work with us and our team to be able to help, obviously, our organization duplicate. So get to managers so you can take advantage of that. Monday night, we've got, obviously, 6 p.m., we've got the special call. Christy Bellison, Chrissy Malone, and Renee are going to be doing that call. It's going to be an amazing one. That's obviously Singapore time, China time. That's on at 9 a.m. Monday night, I'm doing the live event out of HQ. If you've got people in Southern California, get them plugged in. If you don't have people in Southern California, what I would encourage you to do is to get people in Southern California started, right? Let me help you build your business for you, right? That's what I do. Obviously, the 26th is going to be a holiday, so I'm not going to be doing an event that day. I'm actually going to be in Malaysia, but make sure you take advantage of these. If you've got people in Southern California, if you don't, start building in Southern California. Let me help you build your business. We've got Tuesday, our Spanish presentation. I know some of you were on that. We started a little bit late. It was my bad. I apologize. So just relax. That was my bad. So you guys know how I operate, right? I'll take responsibility. Tuesday, after that, we've got our orientation call. We've got the 3 Kims, right? Anna Kim, MJ Kim, and Chris Kim. Same last name, but they're not related. What's going on, right? Anna Perry, Tracy Zimmer. This is going to be a big one. We've got obviously Spencer Iverson, man. This guy is unreal. Like, he's one of the best presenters. I've known him forever, right? Spencer's a good buddy of mine. We were in a company together. Both of us made a fortune in that business. Somebody I respect so much. And I can tell you right now, he'll help you build your business by taking advantage of that Wednesday call. Wednesday, we got Product University back as well. So if you're a product junkie, get your product junkie people on that as well. Thursday, we got Tracy Zimmer and Karen Kang going to be doing that one. Karen Kang and Tracy Zimmer, powerhouses. And they're going to be in Cabo. So I already tell you, that's going to be a fun one, right? And then Friday, I'm going to be doing the 6 keys to becoming, to being an effective presenter. And I'm going to teach you the ins and outs on how to be an effective presenter, right? It's going to be a great training. So all those, that's what we got going on this week. Let's talk about, you ready? Right? We're going to do right now the 7 laws to creating momentum. This is by far the most important training that I can tell you right now. That I use this information to become wealthy. And my mentor taught this to me. And a lot of you guys that know me well, you know I'm about as smart as a bag of rocks, right? So, you know what I mean? I never graduated high school, never went to college, got involved in network marketing and direct sales when I was 17. And my first year was able to make 147,000. And when I tell people I'm stupid, they go like, Tim, don't say that about yourself. And it's like, why is stupid bad, right? I'm not saying like, yeah, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm not trying to be like a phone a friend. You guys get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire phone a friend. I'm not trying to win Jeopardy, right? I'm here to make money. And when my mentor taught me how to create momentum, I've never deviated from that, right? And I'm going to teach it to you today. But what I want to share with you about this, and I want to qualify this right now, is it's simple. It's a lot simpler than you think. And the challenge that a lot of people have is they like to get tricky. If you can streamline your focus, and take this information in, it's not going to be complicated. It's not like you don't even have to do 7 things, right? It's literally one thing over and over and over again, and you create massive momentum. I've got so many mentors that helped me become successful. And was very fortunate. See, anybody that would have had the same set of circumstances happen to them that happened to me would have the same or better results than what I've had in this industry, right? I can tell you that I know I'm nothing special, right? I'm literally a go-kart track attendant. It's the only job I've ever had in my life. Never graduated college, never graduated high school. And I can tell you that this business is not as difficult as it appears to be, right? And people are like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. It's not so much what you do, but it's why you do it. And that's what this momentum is all about. So I'm going to break this thing down for you. And by the time you get off this call today, I think everybody's going to have a focus like never before. And what'll happen is you're going to watch your organization grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. Okay. You're going to watch your organization start to multiply like rabbits on Viagra, right? It's going to grow so fast if you'll take this information in and apply it. It's not about the acquisition of knowledge, right? If a lot of people think, oh man, I got to learn this. It's not about new information. It's not the acquisition. It's the implementation, right? It's not what you know. It's what you do with what you know, right? I think we all know, like, I can tell you this, probably for my health, it would have been a better idea for me to walk around the block today. Didn't do it, right? It would have been a better idea for me to go to the gym. And I know we've got some people that are like, look, I get it. I know you guys are in shape. We got the most beautiful organization on the planet. But I can just tell you that it's not what you know. It's what you do that makes a difference, right? Knowledge is not power, right? Knowledge is potential power. Action's power, right? Action's power. So today I'm going to challenge you to capture this information and clearly understand exactly how to create momentum by this information I share. Try to capture it, okay? Because it's very simple. But I want to talk first about the first law, right? And that's more about awareness, right? The first law, out of the 7 laws of creating momentum, the law number 1 is this: momentum is a leader's best friend, right? You want to understand what momentum is all about. And I think John C. Maxwell, here's a book of his. Like John C. Maxwell, you guys all know John C. Maxwell. I like to call him JCM, my guy. But John C. Maxwell wrote a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Law number 16 is the law of the Big Mo. And he talks a little bit about it, but he talks about Jaime Escalante and how he was able to create, obviously, so many smart, brilliant people in math in Garfield High School in East LA. And he talks a lot about that story, about how that thing created momentum. But he kind of is elusive, but he talks about high morale, right? So high morale is how momentum is created. And in his book, I think it is the 17 indispensable qualities of a team leader. He talks about the high morale. So a lot of this information on how to create momentum, my mentor taught me, but some of it I pieced together from the books that I've read as well. And it literally is exactly what my mentor told me. So it's kind of like reinforcement. But I like the way that John C. Maxwell talks about this. He says a train traveling at 55 miles an hour, okay, on a railroad track can crash through a 5-foot thick steel reinforced, okay, concrete wall without stopping. So imagine a train going 55 miles an hour, okay? And I think I might have spelled traveling wrong. Do you guys see this? So a lot of people like to count how many typos I got, okay? So just, you can do that. And if I spelled it right, great. But I'm telling you guys, there's going to be some typos in this bad boy. If a train's going 55 miles an hour, okay, and there's a 4-foot thick or a 5-foot thick a concrete wall that's still reinforced, that train will slice right through it, okay? Now realize that exact same train, if it's starting from a stationary position, won't be able to get off, won't be able to go if there's a 1-inch thick block in front of the driving wheel. You understand? So the same train, the same track, the difference is the speed of the train. And what John C. Maxwell says is that's momentum. Momentum is, when you get momentum, that's why momentum is a leader's best friend, right? A train going at full speed. So you want to have momentum in your life, right? You want to have momentum. And the way that I look at it, there's 3 stages of momentum, right? Number 1 is to create momentum. And the law of the big mo and the law of the victory are really where you're going to be able to find out about creating momentum, right? Because the law of victory and the law of the big mo kind of work hand in hand to be able to create momentum, right? And I'm going to break this thing down today. And to advance momentum is all about law number 20 in the Irrefutable Laws of Leadership in this book, the law of explosive growth, right? The law of explosive growth is advancing momentum is about developing and duplicating people, right? And then sustaining momentum is the law of legacy, right? Number 21 is about kind of developing and getting people to be able to go beyond what you've been able to accomplish, to be able to create people that are better than you, right? If you're the best one on your team, that means you got to develop more people, right? I love what TD Jake says in one of his, he has an audio that I got called Commanding the Officers. And TD Jake says, if I can throw a ball, let's say 20 yards, and I mentor you and teach you, you should be able to throw it at least 40 yards or 30 yards, but you should be able to throw it more than me because you're going to be able to learn from my experiences. So we want to develop leadership, right? And that's what stage number 3 is, right? So let's break this thing down. Understand what you need is more momentum, right? I know that basketball's on right now, and there's some of these teams are coming back from like these 20-point deficits and winning these games. And a team can go on a big run. What does the other opponent do, right? If a team's playing basketball, I know some of you aren't sports fans, but in basketball, if somebody goes on a run, right, meaning that they score 8 or 10 or 12 in a row, the head coach of the other team is going to usually call a timeout. Why? To be able to stop that momentum, right? So you want to understand that momentum, once you get momentum, if you in your life and everything you do, it's kind of like what Jim Rohn says, right? He says one discipline affects the rest. One neglect affects the rest, right? He says success is not a cataclysmic event. It doesn't just happen. Failure is not a cataclysmic event, right? Success and failure is a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And failure is a few errors in judgment repeated every day. So just realize it's a little bit. It's just a little bit in the right direction. So how do you get momentum in your life? It's the same thing. What happens is once you start getting momentum, it'll carry over to all areas of your life, right? It's kind of like you can't eat an apple. You can't eat 30 apples at the end of the month and be like, dude, I ate an apple a day. It's about a little discipline over and over and over again, right? But you want to create momentum in your business and also everywhere in your life, right? Because one discipline affects the rest, one neglect affects the rest, right? So it's super simple. Let's break this thing down. Let's talk about law number 2, right? Law number 2 is momentum takes absolute focus. You've got to have absolute focus. This is big, right? You've got to have absolute focus. And there's one thing to focus on in this business that will make you a fortune and will create massive momentum. I'm going to break this thing down for you. But here's the question I want to ask you is this. If you ask me, Tim, customers versus planners, right? Would you rather have 1,000 customers or 1,000 planners? Think about what I'm asking. Most people be like, obviously 1,000 planners. No, I'd rather have 1,000 customers. Okay. Why? Because I don't want planners. I don't want planners. Now I know some of you are like, what? Understand what I'm telling you. If you ask me customers versus leaders, would you rather have 1,000 customers or 1,000 leaders? Obviously, I'd rather have 1,000 leaders. You understand? So yes, I have to sign somebody up as a planner to develop into a leader. The key is you can't prejudge. Some of you are like, well, you know what? This person, I don't want to sign them up as a planner because I'd rather get them as a customer because they don't have what it takes. You have no idea what's in somebody's heart. You have no idea, right? Somebody could be, somebody, you could feel like you maybe drag them across the starting line. You're like, man, I'm kind of dragging this person across the starting line. They're not going to make it to the finish line. But sometimes they'll get on a call, on a Zoom, or they'll have a conversation with somebody and the light bulb will go on and they'll make a commitment and they'll revolutionize their life. So never prejudge somebody, but understand what we're doing. I'm not trying to get people started as planners. I'm trying to do what? Develop leaders. To me, it's all about leadership. So how do you develop leaders? How do you develop leaders in our business, right? And I understand that leadership is influence. It's not a title, but you've got to get a title in this business. And it's the first title. It's about getting people to that first title. We're going to talk about what that looks like in a second here. But here's what I want to share with you about focus, right? I love what Zig Ziglar talks about. This comes from Zig Ziglar. He says, if you take a magnifying glass, can ignite a fire, right? It can, if you have a pile of leaves and you concentrate the power of the sun through that glass, that magnifying glass at a focused specific spot, and do not move the glass. You see what you're doing? Check out what I just said. You're not moving the glass. Even if you magnify the power of the sun through a magnifying glass, you'll never start a fire if you keep moving this magnifying glass. You've got to have an absolute focus. And I'm going to tell you what that focus is. And a lot of you will do it. You'll do it for maybe 3 weeks, or maybe you'll do it for 3 months. And then once your group starts growing like wildfire, you're going to get all tricky. You're going to get all tricky. And that's the issue, right? You've got to keep it basic. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you want to have as a focus if you want to create momentum. If you don't want to create momentum and you're like, you know what, Tim, I just want to go through the motions and not really have a lot of success. I don't know the answer for that, but I do know the answer on how to create momentum and become wealthy. And I'm going to give it to you today. Now, if some of you are like, Tim, I don't want to become wealthy. I just want to make 5,000 a month, or I want to make 5,000. Maybe I want to make $500 a month. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter what you want to get. Momentum is going to help you get there faster. Okay. Momentum is going to help you get there faster. And let's break this thing down. Let's talk a little bit about this. Okay. What you want to do is never deviate and never complicate. Okay. Never deviate, never complicate what I'm about to give you, because I'm going to give you guys the cheat code to creating momentum right now. This is it. Now I'm going to, everything after this, I'm going to reinforce it and give you more insights. But in Riemann, I'm going to give you the insights on how to make this thing happen. Okay. So we all know that it's a ladder, right? It's basically, it's not even, to me, it's an escalator, but you go from planner to manager, manager to senior manager to team leader. Anybody that's a team leader will tell you, you want to be a team leader. But you know how many people became a team leader that didn't become a manager first? 0. You understand? It's that first step. That's everything. Now, I know some of you are like, well, Tim, I got started at senior manager. I got 4 of the big 1,500 point sets and I'm a senior manager. I'm talking about engaging in the process of building the business, right? So even though you might be a senior manager by rank, we still got to introduce people to the business. We still got to build our distribution network, right? So it's all about that first step, right? What I mean by that is when somebody becomes a manager, more times than not, they're going to introduce people to the opportunity, introduce people to the products, right? So even though they might have got started as a senior manager, I'm talking about engaging in the process, taking that first step. That's what it's all about. So what I get everybody to focus on, if you looked at my back office, you would see a bunch of planners and you'd see managers, and then you'd see senior managers and see team leaders. It shows you what the ranks look like. The biggest thing that you want to do is understand planner to manager. That's the hardest thing. Okay. Let me explain to you. I know this is crazy. That's the hardest thing in our business, is that first step. And if you can help people get on the escalator of success and become a manager, you can create a fortune in our business. I'm letting you guys know right now, when my mentor taught me this, this is literally what revolutionized my life. I've used it time and time again. It's the first earned rank, getting people to that first earned rank. Let's break this thing down. Okay. Let me explain to you guys what I'm talking about, right? First off, what are the manager qualifications, right? Super simple. Okay. All right. Manager qualifications are simply this, right? The SP from all your personal purchases. So anything that you personally purchase yourself, your customers, whatever they purchase as well, right? and your frontline planners, okay? The people that you personally introduce to the opportunity. And you can count up to 1,500 of the 3,000 points required from one planner, okay? I'm giving you a cheat code. Now, somebody goes, well, Tim, I bought two 1,500 point sets. I'm a manager, okay? I'm talking about getting engaged in the process, okay? It's not just about getting started somewhere, right? It's about doing what? It's about taking that first step. That's the most important part. That's why you never want to deviate or complicate. You want to get people engaged in the process. Okay. Once you get engaged in the process of introducing people to the opportunity or introducing people to the products, and you start sharing with people, right? That's the key to it all. And once you get results, that's the magic. Okay. So let's break this thing down a little bit more, right? The hardest thing I can tell you guys, the hardest way to become a national director is to focus on becoming a national director. Okay. The simplest way to become a national director is focus on promoting managers. Okay. That's the magic. Because let me tell you something. Somebody goes, well, why not senior manager? Because if you go manager, you automatically, I mean, it's not automatically, but almost everybody that hits manager goes senior manager. Okay. Because they believe they can do it. Okay. So what you want to realize is you've got to get people on the escalator. That's the magic. The magic is getting people to manager. Okay. So here's what happens, right? When you become a manager, you don't make a fortune, right? It's not like you made a fortune, but it's that the only way to make a fortune is to take that leap, right? Getting people to that first earn rank. That is literally the cheat code in our industry. The cheat code to becoming wealthy in our industry is getting people to get on the escalator of success, getting people on that first step. Okay. And I know that might sound easy. Somebody's like, well, dude, I became a manager. If you can become a manager, that's the hardest thing you'll ever do in our business. Okay. Is to become a manager. Somebody goes, what? Yes, because from that point moving forward, all you got to do is Control C, Control V. If you can teach other people how to do what you just did over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to become successful. My mentor said, Tim, if you want to become successful, you have to master the mundane. Master the mundane, which is what? The simplicity of this business. How does a family tree grow? Think about it. If you look at a family tree, if like let's say that two people come together, a man and a woman, right? And I'm not going to get into that, okay? Because I know, you know what I mean? This is not a political situation. I'm just saying a man and a woman is the only way to be able to create a baby, right? And if a man and a woman come together and they create a baby, guess what happens? The family tree didn't grow, really. You understand? Because two people only added one. Now, when two people have two kids, what happens? Now the family tree is staying up. But whenever two people have three, guess what happens? Now the tree is growing. So what I'm sharing with you is what, right? We want to understand it's the same thing in our business. It's when somebody gets started, helping them hit that first earned rank. See, when people hit that first earned rank, they're growing. The magic of our business is getting people to hit manager. I can promise you what I'm telling you is absolutely true. When I got started in Remont, all I asked Danny Bay was, I said, Danny, what's the first earn rank? What's the first earn rank? And I know that if I can get the highest percentage of people hitting that first earn rank, I know that I'm going to take over this company. Now, people say, what does that percentage look like? Well, when your organization is small, it's easy. If you only have 3 people on your team, it's pretty easy to help 3 people become managers. You understand? If you only got 1 person on your team, it's easy to get 1 person to become a manager. And now as your organization grows and you've got thousands of people signing up every month, it becomes more challenging because you're not necessarily doing what? You're not working with those people hands-on. But if you start your organization with this understanding and focus that we have to get everybody focused on getting people to manager, your group is going to grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. Okay. I always tell this story about, myself and Danny Bay were in a company. This is a leadership call. I don't mind telling you guys. We were in a company called ACN back in 2004. And, I was fortunate enough to introduce Danny Bay, and him and I went and we just ran away with that company. And we were number 1 in the world. I hit number 1 in the world 11 months into it. Right. And that company had been around for 13 years. We came in and we dominated that company. Right. We were doing 25% of the volume in that company within a year and a half. And the reason why we were dominating is because all we did was streamline our focus to getting people to that first earn rank. Okay. And we ended up taking over the company. People could not figure it out. Like we were literally like number one, number two every month. It was either me or Danny, me or Danny, me or Danny at the top rank in the company. And we were doing the number three guy, we were doing about 10 times more volume than that guy. 10 times the volume that they were doing. And the reason why we were dominating so bad is because we had an understanding and focus of all we have to do is get people to that first turn rank. And we mastered it. We mastered it. And once we mastered it, our group grew like wildfire through a dry brush field. So the simplest way to become a national director is by focusing on getting your new people to manager, new people to manager, new people to manager, new people to manager, new people. The lifeblood, you guys all probably know, right? Oh, the book is over there. But my favorite book of all time in network marketing is Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell, right? And in that book, he says, he said, new blood is the lifeblood of any organization, right? It's the new people coming in that are the most important people. That's the most important people. And if you can help those people get off to a fast start and a launch, you're going to help them become managers. Let's break this thing down. I want to teach you guys this, okay? So the thermometer, if you look at a thermometer and a thermostat, what's the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat, okay? What's a thermostat do? A thermostat changes the temperature. What does a thermometer do? It records the temperature. Get what I'm telling you? The thermometer records the temperature. The thermostat controls the temperature. I think everybody would agree with that, right? So what's the thermometer of our business? And what's the thermostat? Okay. The thermometer is new people getting started, new planners getting started. The thermostat that controls it is the amount of those people becoming new managers. So it's the new managers being created. And if you want to change the temperature of your organization, you want to kick it up and you want to create momentum, you've got to get more people that are getting started on your team to manager. Now, understand that is the magic of what I'm telling you right now. If any of you right now are thinking, how do I create more success, Tim? I want to make more money. I want to have more success in Remon, man. I want to blow Remon up. How do I make it happen in Remon? How do I make a fortune in Remon, Tim? How the heck did you guys come into this business, right, and get to a six-figure month income within 6 months, hit national director in 6? How the heck did that happen? How'd you guys do that? It was not anything that was complicated. All we did was focus 100% of our time on creating new managers. And what drove it? The focus group. See, when somebody becomes a manager, they start getting mentored by Larry and Taylor Thompson. You got to realize this book, The Millionaire Training, is one of the best books ever written, right? In our industry. Everybody knows that. This is like, everybody loves this book by Larry Thompson, okay? Everybody does, okay? And getting coaching from him, you guys, is next level, okay? Because they break it down and keep it simple, right? It's all about audience language behavior, right? It's all about simplicity. But you can't get into that training unless you hit what? Manager. So we just promoted that training like crazy and started popping managers like crazy. And that's what drove our volume. That's what drove our business. It's all about creating managers. If you can get the percentage of your people, listen to what I'm telling you. I promise you this is true. Whoever has the highest percentage of new planners to manager will win. It's not complicated. People are like, well, Tim, how do I make it happen? How I'm in Mexico. How do I blow it up? I'm in China. How do I blow it up? I'm in Singapore. How do I blow it up? I'm in Malaysia. How do I blow it up? If you have the highest percentage of people that are creating managers in your organization's got the highest percentage of managers being created, your organization is going to grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. You are going to take over. It's not about how many people you have on your team. It's how many people are hitting manager. Why? Because if they hit manager, what happens? They're going to hit senior manager. If they hit senior manager, they're going to hit team leader. If they hit team leader, they're going to hit director. If they hit director, they're going to hit senior director. If they hit senior director, they're going to hit what? National director. The hardest thing is getting them to manager. And if you can crank out more managers in your organization and have a higher percentage, your organization will win. You will take over every market. It's not, there's no mystery. It's not an art. Next week, I'm doing what? I'm doing a training on how to become an effective presenter. Not as important as create managers. You could be the best presenter in the world. But if you're not getting your new people to manager, it doesn't matter how good you are at presenting. That has nothing to do with your success. Because your people are getting it started, but they're falling out, right? And we're going to talk more about this. I'm going to get excited, okay? So now I'm going to talk about streamline your DMO. Streamline your DMO, your daily method of operation. Everything you do has got to be focused on creating managers. Somebody goes, Tim, what's more important? Social media, and attraction marketing, or pop-ups, or this or that. None of that matters. What matters is the getting people to manager. Because anything will work. If you get people on Zooms, you can become successful. If you do three-way calls only, you can become successful. If you do, I'm telling you, I've done so many different things in this industry, made a fortune. What matters is this. None of how I do it is not as important as why I do it. Why we do everything we do is to create more managers. This is how you unlock. If you want to, Tim, I want to make it happen so bad. I've got a desire. My family's counting on me. I've got to make this work. I've got to make it happen. All you have to do is get more people to manager. So how do you do it? You get excited about manager. Right? If somebody, like, give me an example, Kim Weimer today. You guys all know Kimberly Weimer. If you don't, you'll find out really quickly. She's the #1 customer getter in the galaxy, right? Kim Weimer just hit director today. That's unbelievable. I'm fired up like never before. Like, I'm super jacked about that. But somebody also hit manager today. You understand? Like, hitting director is a big accomplishment. But what gets me most excited about, I get just as excited when my new person hits what? Hits manager. If you look at manager and you're like, that's not a big deal. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Call me when you hit team leader, bro. You literally don't get it. If you get excited, like any of you guys that have kids know what I'm talking about. Okay. I don't just have kids. I got grandkids. I'm a G daddy, baby. Right. I got a grandkid. Here's what I want to let you know. Think about teaching your kids how to walk. Why do kids walk? Because they get excited whenever they take that first step. You got to get excited whenever your kid takes its first step, right? They pull themselves up on a couch or whatever, and then they take that first step, or the dad's holding it or the mom's holding it, and they're making that step. Understand what? The parents get excited. Oh my God. They don't go, oh my God, big deal, dude. You took one step, figure it out. You got to streamline your focus. Okay. You got to get excited about people hitting manager. So the most important activity to building a successful Remont team is creating a manager factory. I'm literally giving you the cheat code to the business right now. I'm literally giving you the secret sauce, right? I'm giving you the recipe for success, right? Okay. I feel like Colonel Sanders telling you the KFC recipe right now, baby. This is it. If you can create a manager factory, your organization will perpetuate like never before. Now, if you're not a manager yet, you got to do it before you can teach it. Okay. So you got to get yourself the manager first, right? I love what Lao Tzu said, right? He said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. You've got to streamline your focus on people becoming manager. This is literally how we become successful in network marketing, okay? So let's talk about let's talk about, okay, out of the 7 laws of creating momentum, number 5, okay? This is a big one, right? Grow people and your business will grow. Grow your people and your business will grow. Okay. It's about teach, train, duplicate, right? Tell, show, try, do, right? So let's talk about what that looks like. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys the recipe right now. Okay. In our business, in our industry, there's like a bucket. Okay. I call it a bucket. The MLM bucket, direct sales bucket, Remont bucket, any company's bucket. They all have a bucket and they have a hole in the bucket. And what happens is new people get started, right? And they go in that bucket. Okay. New people come in and they get enrolled and they come in that bucket, right? They're getting started. And that's what everything looks like, right? But the challenge is what? It's not about getting new people started. It's about understanding there's a hole in the bucket, right? When I heard that for the first time, when I was 17 years old, I told my mentor, I said, well, why don't we just clog the bucket? He goes, that would be great, Tim. But the reality is in our industry, you can't clog the bucket. You can't clog the bucket. And once there's a hole in that bucket, people are going to do what? They're going to fall out of that bucket, okay? You see little people falling out of the bucket there. Why are they falling out of the bucket? It's the same with anything. You understand? It's the same. You understand? Not everybody that goes to college stays the course, right? Some people don't, right? Spencer Iverson's daughter just graduated here recently from Georgia. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge, right? That's an exciting accomplishment because there's a lot more freshmen than there are seniors that graduate. You understand? Same with the diet. How many of us have started a diet? How much, I probably lost probably 5 tons in my life, losing it. I lose weight, gain it back, lose it, gain it. Exercise program. How many people do we know that start exercise programs and quit? You understand? Life is how many, even marriages nowadays. If you live in California, if you stay married to one person, like when I tell people I've got a 28-year-old kid and a 9-year-old, they go, how many wives have you had? I'm like, just one, right? They're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. So people quit everything. You understand? It's nothing new. You can't clog the bucket. You understand? You can't clog the bucket. But what you can do so people don't fall out of the bucket is grow your people. You understand? If this is the size of a planner, then guess what? Right? This would be the size of a manager. It's going to be harder for a manager to fall out of a bucket than a planner. When you grow your people, they stay the course. You've got to grow your people. You got to grow your people. If this is the size of a senior manager, they're going to be less likely to do what? Fall out of the bucket, right? And this might be the size of a team leader. You understand? So if you grow your people, they're not going to fall out of the bucket. Okay. You've got to grow your people. If you've hit manager, you have got everything that it takes to become successful. Okay. I'm going to be talking about presenting next week. Well, somebody's, well, why do I need to get on that? Well, it's not going to hurt you to become a better presenter. It's going to help your averages. It's going to help more people become a manager, right? Everything else, everything that you learn is designed to get more people to manager. Why do you promote events so you can create more managers? All right, we're going to talk about it, but understand if you grow people, they're not going to fall out of the bucket. Okay. It's going to be more hard for them to squeeze out of the bucket. Okay. Okay. So always understand there's 4 stages of learning. I think all of you know this, right? Unconscious incompetent is unaware. Unconscious incompetent means you can't do it. So when you look at a baby, right? A baby doesn't know that it can't walk. It has no idea, right? I've got a granddaughter who's a few weeks old, right? She definitely doesn't know what walking is, right? But she'll quickly find out that, you know what, she doesn't know how to do it, right? And then that's when they become consciously incompetent. A baby starts crawling around and they're conscious, they're aware that they're incompetent. They can't do it. Okay. And if I spelled in these words wrong, relax. Okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a phone a friend, right? I'm not trying to be a Jeopardy expert. Okay. Alex Trebek, you know what I mean? Or whatever that dude's name is. I'm not going to be on his show anytime soon. So understand that people become consciously incompetent. That's when a baby's crawling around. Same thing goes for us in our business, right? When people get started, they're unconsciously incompetent. They don't know how to do the business. They don't even know if they can or can't. They don't even know what we're doing. And then they start introducing people to the product, start introducing people to the opportunity, and they start getting no's, right? They start getting people to say, because you're not going to get everybody to say yes. You understand? Even though we have the best product on the planet, right? If you introduce the product to 10 people, 8 of them are going to say yes, 2 of them are going to say no. That's just the way that it goes. If I do facials and I put the product on 10 people, 8 will buy it, 2 won't. I mean, that's just the law of averages. If I introduce somebody to the opportunity, guess what? I introduce 10 people to the opportunity, 3 or 4 are going to get started. The other ones won't. Why is that? I don't know. I don't care. All I do is I know that there's something called Sinaloa, safety of numbers and law of averages. And I just work the numbers. But then what happens is if people stay the course, they're going to become what? Consciously competent. That's when a baby starts taking its steps and it can learn how to walk, and they're starting to learn how to walk, but they're falling down, but they can do it, but they've got to focus on it. Everybody can learn how to do this business. There's no way that anybody can't learn this if they stay the course, right? How long do you give your average baby to learn how to walk? Until, right? So if you stay the course, you're going to become great at this, okay? But it's knowledge. Understand, knowledge makes labor more valuable, right? Skills makes labor more valuable, not knowledge, okay? It's not about learning how to do it. It's not about the knowledge of doing it. It's about actually doing it, the skills of doing it. You understand? The skills are what makes the labor more valuable, meaning the skills that you have is going to increase your ability to be able to create more managers, your skills. Now, understand this as well. You can't develop the skills without the labor. You understand? You can't learn how to walk by reading a book about it. You understand? You can't learn how to walk by being afraid to fall down. That's how, and then finally you become an unconscious competent. Like a lot of us can walk now when we don't even think about it, right? Maybe at 4 a.m, you might stub your toe on something. You're like, right? But the reality is you become unconscious. You don't have to focus on walking. You know how to do it. Okay. Same thing happens in our business. You'll get to the point where you're unconsciously competent, where you know that every day you wake up, everything you're doing is designed to get somebody to manager. Everything you're doing is designed to get somebody to manager. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, guess what? Momentum. The law number 7 in creating law number 6 in creating momentum. You have to understand, you have to start successful to be successful. Okay. Meaning that when somebody gets started, that short window that's open, That's why in the first 48 hours, you got to get them on another call. You're right. You got to get them on a Zoom. You got to get them to, you got to get some type of an exposure, right? And I'm going to break it down what I do, the rhythm of my business, okay? The rhythm of how I've created success in Remon and how I've done it in this industry is about, I'm about to give it to you right now, okay? Is this law right here. Start successful to be successful, okay? Let's talk about what this looks like. These are the steps, right? I mean, it doesn't, it's a few simple things, right? Somebody gets started, we got to either get them on an orientation to train them, or we got to get a connection call. I do connection calls, right? When somebody gets started, first thing I do, somebody gets started in the organization. If it's a new team that I'm developing, a new team that I'm building, right? What do? First thing, we got to get a connection call right away with a new leg, right? I'm building a new leg, get a connection call right away with the new people that are getting started on that leg. Okay, I get on a connection call with them. What is that? And I'll break it down. Connection call, getting on a connection call is like a welcome call, getting together with them on a Zoom, right? 45 minutes an hour. I go off. Like, I don't spend like 30 minutes. I spend 45 minutes an hour connecting with people. And what I'm trying to do in that connection call, I'll talk about it. But that next step is to set up that launch meeting, right? That pop-up or the launch meeting. The launch meeting could be a Zoom, right? If they're out of state, which the majority of the people are that I sign up, we're going to do a launch meeting, right? A Zoom, and they're going to get all their buddies on there, right? Now, if they want to be on the fast track, we do it within 24 to 48 hours, right? If they don't want to be on the fast track, we do it within a week. Okay, it doesn't matter. But we're going to schedule that launch meeting. And then we're going to teach them, right? Then we're going to learn. So we got to learn how to do connection calls. We got to learn how to do a launch meeting, right? Or a pop-up. We're going to talk about presenting next week. And then we have to do what, right? We have to learn how to help them attack and attract. Okay, a lot of people like to do attraction marketing, but if you want to get good people, you have to reach out to them, right? The good people that you want in your business, you got to attack, not just attract, okay? You got to go after people, right? People that you would love to have on your team, go after them, right? That's why we make that list. And then you pre-talk and form somebody whenever you invite somebody. Then you pre-talk form, find out what their hot buttons are, find out why they would want to get started with a Remon opportunity. And obviously, if you just want to get customers, that's great too. You can become a manager, senior man. You can even be, but if you want to be a team leader, you got to build a team, right? So I'm talking about that because that's what I like to do, right? Is I like to develop leaders and help them become wealthy. So I'm going to talk about building an organization, right? So the fifth step is that exposure, that pop-up, that Zoom, right? That's where that presentation skills training that I'm going to be teaching next week, right? The 6 laws, the 6 keys to become an effective presenter. But we pre-talk and we find out what their hot button is. Then we give them the exposure, the Zoom, right? The pop-up could be whatever, doesn't matter, okay? But then what do we do, right? Then we overcome objections, right? Some of you guys watched that training I did about last month, over how to overcome objections. Then we enroll somebody, receive the payment, right? And receive the payment. And then we plug them into the daily Zooms, right? First 4 weeks is very important to get plugged in, right? And then what do, right? We create a manager and duplicate, right? We create a manager. The most important thing is creating that manager, but how do you create that manager? Super simple. Somebody just got started, get them on a connection call, get connected with them, do that, set up a launch meeting, right? To be able to expose their buddies to the business. And in that launch meeting, right, creating that excitement. And we'll break all this thing down right now on the connection call, but it's super simple. This is what I want you to realize, right? Successful start is how you get somebody to manager, right? The first 24 to 48 hours of a new planner's life is the most important time, right? Whenever they get started, okay? Now realize somebody goes, well, Tim, that didn't happen for me. Well, it doesn't matter. You can become a transitional leader, right? Just because the process didn't happen perfect for you when you got started doesn't mean you got to do it wrong for other people. Start doing it right, okay? So the first 24 to 48 hours, get connected with your new people. Mainly if you're a team leader, right? Okay, if you're brand new and you want to be a team leader, you know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily have to be great to get started. You understand what I'm saying? But you do have to get started to become great. You guys see that one? So understand that new person, we've got to connect with them right away. Okay, the new person needs help. They don't know what they're doing. You understand? So when you connect with somebody, if you're a team leader, you know you're getting the biggest override in the differential payout. So the company throws money at team leaders to do connection calls, right? And that's the reason why, you know what, team leaders get paid so well, right? So once you become a team leader, you're going to unlock a lot of money, okay? But the first 24 to 48 hours, get them you got to get connected with your planners, right? And don't let them fall through, right? Because you got to touch a heart before you ask for a hand, right? So when somebody gets started, there's the excitement level and the time, right? So when somebody gets started, they're pumped, right? They're jacked. And then what do, right? We do a welcome call, connection call, right? Get to connected with them, find out what their hot buttons are, just get to know them, let them know that we care about them. And then what'll happen is we set up that pop-up, that Zoom, their that launch Zoom, whatever it is. that new, just designed just for them. And then what happens is, bam, right? We get them to manager, right? If you're like, well, Tim, I don't know how to present yet. Well, I'll teach you next week. You might just have to have them plugging into the Zooms that we have or the Zooms that your team has or whatever. Doesn't necessarily matter. You understand? But what I do is I expose them in that launch Zoom, and then I get them on the next Zoom that's happening that night. Okay. And then manager. And then what happens, right? Boom, they become a team leader. Bam. You guys see what happens? So you understand that's the progression of what we want to see happen. Now, let me show you guys this. Now, this is the flip side, right? Somebody gets started. They're fired up. There's no connection call, no welcome call. What happens next? Boom, they're in the toilet. You guys get what I'm saying? They don't take action. So what I'm telling you right now is the jackpots. This is like literally the gold is getting connected with your new people when they get started, because we got to lay out a plan to be able to help them go where? Manager. Somebody goes, well, Tim, that's a lot of work. I don't care about people that much to be able to do that. Well, shame on you, right? You want to connect with your new people because if you want to become successful, you got to care about people because their success is where it's all at. You understand? And when you can once you do it with your team, it's going to duplicate. People see you doing it. Guess what they're going to do? The same thing. Get connected with them. So I'm going to break it down on what a connection call looks like. I'm telling you, you got to start successful to be successful. Okay. So the most important thing that I want to share with you is simply what? This is law number 7. Okay. Let's law number 7. And we're good on time. Okay. I got about 5 minutes to wrap this up. Just sit tight with me. Confidence is contagious. So let me explain to you guys what this looks like. Okay. When you launch people with no confidence and with confidence. Okay. Imagine 2 seats, right? A little seat that's like a couple feet off the ground. And then imagine a 2x4 in between those seats. And you tell somebody, look, you know what? Walk across this 2x4 and I'm going to give you, you know what I mean? $1,000. Boom. Anybody's going to do it. Why? Because they're not afraid to fall. But imagine now 2 50-story buildings, right? And a 2x4 now. And I said, hey, walk across this 2x4 on these 40-story buildings. I'll give you $1,000. Ain't nobody going to do it, right? Because they're afraid that they might fall. And if they fall, what's going to happen, right? They're going to splat. You guys get that? The difference, the 2x4 is the same. The difference is the confidence that you have whenever you get somebody, when you're launching somebody. You got to know. That's why if you've gone manager, you've done it. You can teach other people how to do it. If you haven't gone manager yet, let's get you wrapped up as a manager right now and teach you how to do what? Teach other people how to do the same and have the confidence to know that you can do it. So let me break this down real quickly. Okay. First thing is this: fast track or regular track. When I'm doing a connection call, fast track, regular track, which one do you want to go on? Okay. And I'll break that down in a second. Walk them through how the enrollment links work, right? How to sign up as a customer. Okay. Touch a heart before you ask for a hand. Find out their why. Find out what motivates them. Vision cash. You want to be able to give them the 5-year vision, what we're going to be doing. We're going to build this thing. We're going to help you change your life, however, whatever that looks like. And if they're like, man, I just want to make a little bit of extra money, that's fine. We're going to get you there. Okay. But once you get to that point, be open-minded to making more money, right? I'm not telling you that you've got to want to make $100,000 a month right now. But what I am telling you right now is once we get you to $500 a month, be open-minded to making 1,000. If you want to stop at 500, that's fine, but be open-minded to making more money. Okay. Help them pick a pack, right? If somebody gets started and they don't get a pack, if I look at a planner getting started and they didn't pick a pack, I know nobody did a connection call with them, right? The whole reason why you're doing a connection call is to help them get off to a fast start. If somebody doesn't get a pack, they don't get a starter set, they're going to not make it happen because they don't have any products. You're literally sending somebody to battle without any weapons, okay? The products are the weapon. You've got to make sure now somebody goes, well, you know what? When I do, I only want people to get started at 1,500 point sets or higher. I understand that, right? I know some people build their business that way, but but guess what? People can become successful with a 300 point set. And it's going to take a lot longer because they're going to duplicate that, but get people started with a pack no matter what. Get a starter set, right? Launch your business document, right? This document here. Okay, schedule the first launch up, their launch pop-up or their launch call, doesn't matter, that launch Zoom. Okay, if they want to be fast track 24 to 48 hours, speed and exposure, right? Let them know that success loves speed. And rank advance your new manager. If you rank advance your new planner to 40, imagine if you can help everybody in your team become a manager within 48 to 72 hours. Now, I know that that's obviously a goal. Necessarily, it might take you 7 days, might take you 14 days, might take you a month, who cares? But I'm letting you know right now, set that kind of goal to get everybody on your team within 48 hours. Now, I know that sounds hard, but once you start getting momentum, I'm telling you guys, it'll happen. Pop, pop, pop. You'll start popping managers like popcorn, okay? Orville Wilberbacher style, right? So the fast track, normal track. Somebody wants to make 500,000 a week or 500,000 a day, got to put them on the fast track. Somebody wants to make 500, 1,000 a month, got to put them on the normal track. I don't call it a slow track, normal track. Somebody get started, pick where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Doesn't make a difference to me. You pick a track, let's get you going, right? So you got to understand this, okay? There's what is this? Why did that thing happen? Okay, here's what I want to show you guys. Okay, leaders that develop leaders and leaders that develop followers, okay? Leaders that develop leaders, they want to be succeeded. Leaders that develop followers need to be needed. You understand? Leaders that develop leaders, they focus on people's strength. They focus on the strength of their people. Leaders that develop followers, they focus on people's weaknesses. Okay, they focus on what they don't like about their people. Leaders develop the top 20%. Leaders that develop the followers, they develop the bottom 20%. Leaders that develop leaders, they give the power away. Leaders that develop followers, they hoard the power. Leaders that develop leaders, they grow by multiplication. Leaders that develop followers, they grow by addition. Understand that momentum is created by high morale. High morale is created by victory. Victory is created by promoting your first new planners to the first earned position. That's the magic. I just gave you the cheat code to becoming successful. I promise you guys, this is all I do. All I do is I focus on getting new people to manager, new people to manager, new people to manager, and control C, control V, control C, control V, control C, control V. And I keep doing it over and over and over. And a lot of you coming off this call, you're going to do it. You're going to streamline your focus. Now, everything you're doing is designed to get people to manager. And what will happen is your organization will start growing like wildfire through a dry brush field. And then you're going to deviate your focus. And you're going to start focusing on stupid stuff. And you're going to watch your organization not grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. Focus on basics, simplicity. Get new people to manager. Get new people to manager. That's why guys, I told you earlier, I'm about as smart as a bag of rocks. The reason why I'm able to become successful is because I can focus on one thing, and I can do that over and over and over and over again. That's how a 17-year-old kid got involved in this industry and became successful, because I could focus on one thing. Okay, now all the skills you learn, how to do it better, is only going to help that job of creating managers become better. You're going to get better at it as you develop more skills. But the key is, if you're not a manager yet, got to go manager. And once you go manager, you just keep doing that over and over and over again. Okay, I always tell people, qualifying like creating a manager is like eating a can of spinach for Popeye. Some of you guys remember Popeye. Popeye was like a weak dude. He was like Buster. He was like weak. No, just, oh, dude. And then that dude, Brutus, would start like, hey, what's up, Olive Oil? You look good, right? And Olive Oil's like, yo, get off me, Brutus. And then and Popeye's like, oh, dude, what am I gonna do? And Brutus was like hitting on his girl, and he busts out that spinach, eats that spinach, and says, I stands all I can stands, I can't stands no more. And he eats that spinach, and he starts whipping Brutus's butt. But it's the spinach. And that's like qualifying for manager. Qualifying for manager is going to make you super unstoppable, because now you have their cheat codes on how to become successful, okay? Always understand the speed of the pack is determined by the lead dog. Always understand you're the lead dog and pace setter of your own team. You can control your own destiny by creating more managers. You got to focus in on one manager at a time. Inch by inch is a cinch. Yard by yard is when it becomes hard, okay? So let's talk about it, right? The basics are what, right? You want to be a team leader. You need three senior manager legs to become a team leader, and obviously the volume, right? But I teach my team leaders, right? You want to go 10 wide. If you create 10 senior managers, you're going to make so much money as a team leader. But if you make your minimums, your maximums, you're stunting your own growth. So how do you get a senior manager? Super simple. Get somebody to manager. You get them to manager, they're going to go senior manager. Okay. The percentage of people going manager to senior manager is out of control. If you go 10 senior managers wide, you've got a strong foundation. Now, it doesn't mean you retire at 10, go for 20, but build wide for profit, and you build depth for stability. This is what I call a solid senior team leader foundation. And then I teach my team leaders, if you want to be a solid director, go 10 wide. If you go 10 team leaders wide, you're going to make so much money as a director. You're going to be a top money earner director. Okay. So always remember, you only need 3 team leaders to go director. But even if you get to director with 3 or 4 team leaders, you want to make sure you have 10. Build a strong organization so you can become successful, and set the pace and set the tempo, right? So let's wrap this thing up here. Make sure you have 5 guests on the Saturday. If you call to action, right? Knowledge and faith uninvested in labor is wasted. I taught you some stuff. I taught you some skills tonight, right? I share with you some stuff tonight that I share with you guys that can help you become successful. So it's the information I shared tonight. You got to apply it. Just because somebody shares with you information and gives you the insights to becoming successful, you've got to take action. Without action, nothing counts. I told you earlier, wisdom and faith uninvested in labor is waste, so we've got to take action. It's not what you know, it's what you do. Knowledge is potential power, action's power. We got to take action now. Let's start introducing people to the opportunity. Let's get 5 guests on the Zoom tomorrow with Derek Brown. Let's get 5 guests, help them do the same thing. Get 5 guests on the Zoom with obviously Christy, and Renee on Monday. Let's start growing this thing like wildfire. We want to qualify for the Recruit 3 promo now. And how many times? As many as you want. Let's get qualified for that Recruit 3 promo right now. Let's get it done now. So they have opportunity to be able to get, guess what? The same thing happened for them, right? Make sure that everybody gets their Mother's Day promotion. We don't want anybody's mom's not looking all sexy, right? Everybody's mom's looking sexy, but this guy over here, right? He didn't get his mom the Mother's Day promo. Shame on him, right? We want our moms to be looking good, right? If you're a mom, spoil yourself, right? If you've got a wife or you've got a girlfriend or you've got a sister or a mother, get them the Mother's Day promotion, man. Let your mom look good, right? Don't let your mom be all shabby. Get her dialed in. Make her look all sexy, right? We want to have the sexy moms over here. Get them all dialed in. So register for the roadmap event, right? It's all about action. And create at least one manager. Make it a goal today to set up and say, look, I'm going to create one manager. I'm going to create one manager, right? I'm going to get the job done. This moment in time, you guys, will never be recreated again. This moment in time will never be duplicated again. We have a window of opportunity right now to be able to set forth in motion massive momentum that can change your life. I promise you can do it. If you've gone manager, you know you can teach other people how to do the same thing. Stop trying to take over the world and just do it one step at a time. One manager at a time. One manager at a time. That's it. The cheat code to the business I just gave you. Right? Somebody goes, man, I want to be a national director. Well, guess what? Hardest way to be a national director is focus on national director. Easiest way to do is focus on managers. That's it. That's it. How many managers have you created in the last 30 days? And I promise you, if you create more than what you created, your group will continue to grow. And then once you master it, you're going to start popping managers like this, and you're going to become a manager factory. Your organization and your income is going to grow like uncontrollable. There is nothing to it. I promise you guys, look, I'm an ugly guy in the beauty industry. Come on. But guess what I know how to do? I know how to create managers. And I don't deviate from that. Get to manager, create a manager, and just create a manager, one manager at a time. Inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is when it becomes hard. Build one manager at a time. And you're like, man, how do I do that? Get somebody started and do what? Get them to manager. And then help them get people started, get them to manager. And you keep getting people to manager over and over and over and over and over again. And you're going to walk away with a fortune. 5 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, this big stack of money's mine. Like why would I give you? Well, all I want to do is help you win. I'm telling you guys what I do. This is it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our time. So let's make a commitment in our mind, make a commitment in our heart right now that this is it. This is my time to make it happen. This is my time to step up. I'm going to get the job done. Over, under, through. I'm going to do it brick by brick, inch by inch. I'm going to create a manager. Make a commitment in your mind. Make a commitment in your heart right now to make it happen. You've got what it takes. It's going to take what you got. Make up your mind right now to say, this is it. This is my time. I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to create a manager. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get more committed right now to helping more people win and get to manager than ever before. You're on my team, and I'm going to, hey, look, I'm a manager factory. You get started on my team, I make sure everybody wins. I make sure everybody goes manager. Everybody on my team goes manager. That's the way that I build my team. Imagine if you created that mindset. What if you made up your mind right now, I'm going to become a manager making machine? Your organization will grow like wildfire. Your organization will grow like rabbits on Viagra. It'll just take off. Make a commitment right now. This is my time to do something special. This is my time to do something great. I'm going all out massive action. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get to manager, create a manager, and then create another manager, and just keep on doing that, and you're going to run away with a fortune. Let's go all out massive action and make it happen. God bless you guys. Hope you got some valuable information. Appreciate everybody's time. Let's make it happen. Let's all go to the top together. God bless everybody. Let's do it. Woo! Man,